Hi folks, welcome to RJA Impact. Today we're going to be talking about an alien autopsy. Introduction. The Alien Autopsy is a 17-minute black and white film about a secret medical autopsy of an alien by the United States military. It is based on the autopsy of the body of an alien that was recovered from the 1947 crash of a flying disc near Roswell, New Mexico. Apparently the film was recovered from a retired military cameraman who decided to remain anonymous. The Roswell UFO incident. The alleged source for the alien body arises from a famous incident that took place at Roswell, New Mexico in the United States in early July 1947. One morning, around Independence Day 1947, on a ranch near Roswell, a rancher named Mac Brazel found something very unusual in one of his pastures. There, in what appeared to be a crash site, were a host of metallic sticks, plastic materials, foil-like reflectors, and a heavy glossy paper-type material, the like of which Mac had never seen before. Knowing that this was unusual, to say the least, Brazel called the Roswell sheriff. The sheriff in turn called officials at the nearby Roswell Army Air Force Base. RAAF Major Jesse Marcel was contacted and called to investigate the crash and the debris and collected what debris he could find. Very soon soldiers also descended on his farm and without further ado gathered up all the mysterious debris, taking it away in armoured trucks. Now, following the collection of the debris at the crash site, rumours began to spread that it came from a flying disc. On July the 8th, 1947, the Roswell Army Airfield, RAAF, issued a press release. This stated that personnel from the field's 509th Operations Group had recovered a flying saucer, which had crashed on a ranch near Roswell. Now, the historic roots of the 509th OG began on 17th of December 1944, when the 509th Composite Group was formed. Note in this picture the mushroom cloud motif. The 509th was formed with one mission in mind, to drop the atomic bomb. And the 509th OG made history on 6th of August 1945, when the B-29 Superfortress Enola Gay, piloted by Colonel Paul W. Tibbets Jr., dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima. Let's take a further look at the Roswell crash. Very quickly, in fact within hours, the military retracted their initial statement saying that the flying saucer was actually a conventional weather balloon. In subsequent years, further rumours began to spread that one or more alien spacecraft had actually landed and the bodies of the alien occupants had been recovered by the military, who then engaged in a widespread cover-up. The best understanding of what happened to the occupants is based on witness interviews. These state that up to 3 bodies were recovered from the site and transferred to Hangar 84 at the Roswell Army Airfield. There they were stored overnight and placed in a crate before transport the next day to Wright Airfield in Dayton, Ohio. Many UFO researchers also believe some additional materials from Roswell were later also transported to Wright Field after the crash and stored in Hangar 18, which they base on reports from former military pilots. One such pilot, Oliver Henderson, allegedly told his wife that he flew a plane loaded with debris along with several small alien bodies from Roswell to the Wright Field. According to the children of another pilot, World War II ace Marion Black Mac Magruder, he claimed to have seen a living alien at Wright Field in 1947 and told them it was a shameful thing that the military destroyed the creature by conducting tests on it. From the late 1970s, UFO researchers began to investigate the incident more fully and interviewed several hundred people who claimed to have had a connection with the events at Roswell in 1947. Hundreds of additional documents were recovered through use of the US Freedom of Information Act. Conclusions by the researchers were drawn in that there was at least one alien spacecraft which crashed near Roswell, alien bodies had been removed, and a government cover-up of the incident had taken place. About the film. The film itself focused on a single alien lying on a table or gurney. Doctors in radiation or hazmat suits dissected it over the course of the video. The images are pretty gory as the alien is cut open and its peculiar internal organs removed and examined. The best and most well-known review of the film was an analysis undertaken in 1995 by the Fox television network. In 1995, Fox Television broadcast the footage under the title Alien Autopsy, Fact or Fiction. It created great debate, with many media pundits labelling it a sensation, and due to its popularity, Fox rebroadcast the programme another 2 times, gaining additional ratings on each airing. In the actual broadcast, some parts of the autopsy were edited out because of their graphic nature, although the original footage still had the complete unedited images. The autopsy film itself is only 17 minutes long, and the original footage, it was claimed, still had unreleased footage of the wreckage of the craft that crashed at Roswell. In the film, the 2 doctors, or pathologists in suits, are seen examining the alien body, and a third person is seen watching from behind a glass window. The body itself looks fairly complete, except there is an obvious serious wound on the creature's right leg. In one scene, one of the people examining the body looks at the creature's hands, and while it has what would be considered a thumb, the hand has an additional 5 fingers, making 6 in total. A similar view of the feet showed them to have 6 toes. As part of the Alien Autopsy Fact or Fiction review, the Fox researchers looked at objects in the room to see if they correctly dated from the period. A General Electric clock was observed, as well as a telephone on the wall, and both were dated as being from the 1940s or earlier, so were in keeping with a film purporting to be from 1947. Also, one of the pathologists called to look at the footage comments that the tray of surgical instruments is consistent with trays of the time, as is the use of a handsaw used at one point in the autopsy. The host of the film, Jonathan Frakes, aka William T. Ryder from Star Trek The Next Generation, asked viewers to decide if the autopsy of the alien being that crashed at Roswell was real. All sorts of experts, medical experts, Hollywood special effects experts, and other professional pundits weighed in, the general conclusion being, maybe it is real, or maybe it isn't. Ray Santilli, born 30th of September 1958 in the UK, who came across the footage in the first place and promoted it to the television networks, appeared in the film and explained how he came about it in the first place. Ray had obtained the film from a cameraman who was sent to Fort Worth to take films of the flying saucer and an alien, including the alien autopsy. The cameraman states that these had been flown there in secret for study and examination. He says that most of the film footage was sent to Washington, but that a few reels remained with him because it would require special processing due to the way in which the film was treated. He kept the reels in a cardboard box, expecting that the army would eventually pick them up, but they never did, and over the years he just held on to them. Controversy exists surrounding statements Santilli made about the film a number of years later. In 2006, he admitted that the film was faked, although this wasn't the end of his story. He went on to say later that the film was actually a faked version of a real film and still had some original frames. The reason being is that the real film had deteriorated over time. Before that admission though, the alien autopsy footage had become famous or infamous thanks to the 1995 TV airing of Alien Autopsy, Fact or Fiction. Hosted with a mixture of seriousness and incredulity by Frakes, the Fox special doesn't show the entire autopsy in full, just bits and pieces of it interspliced are interviews with experts. For example, there are people who claim to know the truth about the long-rumoured UFO crash in Roswell, acclaimed forensic pathologist Cyril Vett, legendary special effects makeup artist Stan Winston, and so on. All the pundits are asked to look at the film and determine what they think is going on. Forensic pathologist Cyril Vett said that the body being dissected is in no way, shape or form human, but stops short of saying it's an alien from outer space. Stan Winston, and his team who watched the film with him, is a famous special effects artist known for the likes of Jurassic Park and Predator, and he is extremely impressed by the craftsmanship shown. He says that if somebody off the street showed him the footage and claimed to have faked it, he'd hire them on the spot to work for him, and so on and so on. Controversy also surrounds the editing of the Fox broadcast. Many of the people who are leaning towards the conclusion that the autopsy is real disowned it, claiming their comments were taken out of context or edited. What generates a lot of debate in respect of the footage is the additional undercurrent and implication that a government of the largest democracy in the world could lie to the public and cover up the existence of aliens. As well as the autopsy, alien artifacts, which were supposedly items recovered from the crash site, were depicted in the film. These include alien symbols and what appear to be six-finger control panels. In 2019, the story took a fresh turn following the discovery of a leaked memo obtained by aerospace billionaire Robert Bigelow from one of his physicists. The story broke in the UK newspaper The Sun. The memo allegedly states that a CIA scientist named Kit Green was, in quotes, briefed 3 different times during and after his tenure at the CIA on topics relevant to UFOs and the Roswell incident alien autopsy. The memo, which is believed to have originated from the archives of the late astronaut Edgar Mitchell, states, after Kit left the CIA, he was called into the Pentagon by a person in uniform. The person showed Kit the alien autopsy photos and reports, etc. The photos of the alien cadaver Kit saw were consistent with the cadaver seen in the 1995 Santilli film. Hoax or conspiracy theory? While most pundits now accept the footage is largely fake, and Ray Santilli himself says that he faked the film, there are enough open questions to leave some lingering doubts. Ray himself still says the footage is based on a real film, and there is also the report by Kit Green, who also claimed to have seen original photos and documents. Well, in conclusion, this has got to be a hoax.